Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will discuss the sense of the smell. For the sense of the smell, again, the odor particles drift into your nose and cause your smell receptors to send messages directly to other parts of your brain. The olfactory bulb, which helps you smell, is near your hippocampus and sends signals to it. Your amygdala and your cerebral cortex. That's why the smell is connected to feeling and memory. This is the short summary of whole of the lecture, and this animation is showing how the receptors they are stimulated and they send impulses to the brain. This is the thing which we will discuss in detail now. But before that, I must tell you that this is the last lecture from the special senses. So at the end, inshallah, soon you will have the test of the special senses. The schedule is already shown to you on different groups. So now we have completed the unit of the special senses. Focusing again the sense of the smell. For that, the air through which you are smelling the different odors, it enters through the nose in your body. In the nose, we have three important parts in the nose, as you can see: superior, middle, and inferior turbinate. Regarding the sense of the smell, the most important thing is the olfactory membrane, which you can see here. It lies at the superior part of the superior turbinate and also reaching to some part of the middle turbinate also. But mainly it lies in the superior part, covering the superior septum, and laterally it folds over the superior turbinate and even over a small portion of the upper surface of the middle turbinate. From there, the olfactory cells they arise. The next that is the I am trying to highlight this portion in the next slide. This one, you can see the olfactory membrane here present superiorly, and this portion, so I highlight it here, having a larger view of the olfactory sensory neurons, or starting from the receptors. On one end, they have these here also. Basically, these neurons, these are the bipolar neurons, and piercing the cribriform plate, you can see in this figure, this one, they are reaching to the next part, that is the olfactory bulb. So here we have the epithelial cells, and in between we have the sustentacular cells also. In this figure you can see the Bowman's gland also, which is secreting the mucus, and on the surface we have this mucus layer secreted by these Bowman's gland, which are present in between the olfactory cells. They are supported by the sustentacular cells and sending in their fibers to the olfactory bulb. In the olfactory bulb, we have a mixed type of the structure, and it is better that I should show you one more diagram here. This one. This is the structure present. All these structures they are present in the olfactory bulb and having much more detail. In this diagram, I am here just showing that after pressing the cribriform plate, they enter the olfactory bulb in which we have a number of these type of the cells. And these are the different type: mitral cells, stuffed cells, granular cells. These are the granular cells, and also the olfactory glomerulus, this one. And we have the, sorry, we have this PG, that is the periglomerular cells connecting this one. This diagram here I pasted just to show the different types of the cells which are present in the olfactory bulb. While discussing the neural pathway regarding the sense of the smell, I will discuss this diagram again, and I will show you this diagram again and discuss in detail. So you can see the olfactory bulb and through the olfactory tract going to the eye center. So I have told you these neurons, they are basically the bipolar nerve cells, and on their one end they have the olfactory hill projecting into the mucus, which is secreted by the mainly the mucus gland, that are the Bowman's gland. How the stimulation of the olfactory cells occur? Very simple. In the same thing as we have already discussed regarding the sense of the taste, also very much similar to that one. Odorant substance bind to the receptor proteins in the membrane of each cilium, that is the hair cell. From there, receptor protein fold its way into and out of the membrane about 7 times, and the activation of the cyclic GMP take place. The better to have a diagram for that one. This one, I edit many diagrams and animation just to have a better understanding and also have a better grip over the subject. So in this diagram you can simply visualize that this odorant substance, it is going to be attached on its specific receptor which have the G protein. Once it is attached here, the G protein is now separated its alpha unit. ATP is changed into cyclic AMP, and it is going to open the different types of the ionic channel, especially the sodium and calcium channels. And in this way, the process of the depolarization take place. Once these channels open, it changes the polarity of the membrane, and so the depolarization take place, and action potential starts, so that it is the nerve impulse is generated and conveyed to the higher centers. I have discussed this one. Again, coming to the same diagram. Uh, so now you must appreciate that these are the receptors, and each separate type is going to join the separate olfactory glomerulus. They are interconnected with each other through these special periglomerular cells, which are basically the inhibitory cells. Same, we have the granular cells also, they have the same inhibitory action. With that, we have different mitral and tuft cells, and they are connecting these cells, or on one hand they are joined into the olfactory glomerulus, and on the other hand they are joining or making the olfactory tract. These all lie inside the olfactory bulb, and after that they make the fibers that are collectively called the olfactory tract. One more thing which is shown here in this diagram, you must appreciate these granular cells which are receiving the centrifugal fibers from the olfactory tract, And these are the cells which are receiving the centrifugal fibers, and they are responsible for the rapid adaptation of the sense of the smell. So they are basically these are inhibitory cells, and also these are the inhibitory cells. In this way, starting from the hairs of the receptors, after piercing the cribriform plate, they are joining the olfactory glomerulus separately, and then making the olfactory tract. After the olfactory bulb, they are making the olfactory tract, which is now going to enter the main brain or the higher center. This is the all detail about the previous slide. Now you can see how they are entering the higher center or the brain, different areas. All this information that is not present in your textbook, I have collected it from different sources to have a clear concept and to have a better diagram for better understanding. From the fibers from the mitral cells, they are going to mainly five areas of the different five main areas of the brain. You can see this one, while fibers from the tuft cells, they are joining the two areas, that is anterior olfactory nuclei and the olfactory tubercle, ending to the from the olfactory bulb, and also having the fibers from the contralateral olfactory bulb. That is, all these fibers they are coming here, while the mitral cells, fiber from the mitral cells and also from the SST olfactory bulb, they are reaching here to the these fibers, especially from the SST bulb, they are entering to the amygdala. From there, they are going to the thalamus and the ending on the frontal cortex and the orbitofrontal cortex, and also joining the hippocampus. This is the detail written here in the description of the previous slide. You can copy it and have a look on this one. In your textbook, after forming the olfactory tract, the book in the guidance they divide all these fibers into three main categories. They are describing the medial and lateral olfactory areas and olfactory tract, and also the new one also. So mainly they are dividing all these fibers into different categories. As they said that some of the areas they have invented, described earlier as compared to some other areas. So on that basis, we divide these brain areas into very old, less old, and the newer olfactory pathway. The very old pathway, we can say the medial olfactory area of the brain stem, and the other passing laterally fibers, they are making the lateral olfactory pathway, which may be called as the less old olfactory area. One very important thing about which you can have the MCQ, or we can ask it in Viva also, that is the related to the less old olfactory system or the lateral olfactory area. That is, the question is, an important feature of the lateral olfactory area is that many signal pathways from this area also feed directly into an older part of the cerebral cortex called the cortex in the anteromedial portion of the temporal lobe. This is the only area of the entire cerebral cortex where the sensory signals pass directly to the cortex without passing first through the thalamus. So we may ask you, what is the pathway? What is the sense which is passing directly to the cortex and bypassing the thalamus? So this is the area, this is the pathway that I have mentioned. The older part of the cerebral cortex, cortex in the anteromedial portion of the temporal lobe, this is the only area of the entire cerebral cortex where having receiving the sensory signals which are passing directly to this area without passing first to the thalamus. So this is a very important MCQ question and MCQ and also the Viva question. Beside these medial and lateral pathways, we have the neural pathways also regarding the neural pathway of the sense of the smell that passes through the thalamus, passing to the dorsomedial thalamic nucleus and then to the lateral posterior quadrant of the orbitofrontal cortex. So, in that way, we are dividing the cerebral cortex into different areas. These are the mainly the primary sensations of the smell. Now coming to the abnormalities of the regarding to the sense of the smell, and again these are not written and explained in your textbook, so you must be careful about these abnormalities and also their treatment, which I will discuss in next slide. We can have anosmia, which may be congenital, also hyperosmia. The anosmia may be the temporary, permanent, or the congenital. In that, the inability to smell, it may be prolonged use of the due to the prolonged use of the deconsistent Alzheimer disease or aging process, as I have told you many times that due to the age process, the receptors present in the eye, present in the um, ear and in the over the tongue, all they are affected by the age process. The number is and their sensitivity, their number decreases due to the age process. So same for the sense of the smell. And one more thing, many times because of the inflammation of the or because of the flu, you use the local drops to release the congestion of the nasal congestion. So it may produce the anosmia, or very rarely we may have the congenital anosmia also. Because of the nasal congestion, a polyp or foreign body or the fracture to the cribriform plate or nerve, any nerve damage, nerve injury or tumors, we can have the hyposmia, or again it may be temporary or permanent, and we can have the hyposmia also. Treatment, again the treatment, as we have the treatment plan, basic treatment plan in our medical field, that always treat the cause, not the sign and symptom. So if you have any polyp, any foreign body, it must be removed. And so now or any congestion that due to the inflammation, that inflammation should be treated. And so always treat the cause. Once you remove the causative agent, there will be no sign symptom. So for that one, we have the medical or surgical treatment depending upon the exact cause. We may prescribe the antibiotic if there is inflammation, and locally steroid drops can be given. So with this we complete the sense of the smell and also the unit of the special senses, and inshallah you will soon have the test related to the special senses. And very good luck for your future. Allah Hafiz and thank you.